And I'm gonna jump into my things I wish I knew. As a teen, growing up with lymphedema, you can suppress the swelling with at-home and physical therapy. So growing up, I didn't even know that anybody cared that you had lymphedema in the medical industry. So knowing that there are ways to treat this and knowing that you can do it at home or you can go to a physical therapist is major. Now, I will say that there aren't many lymphedema therapists. I wish there were more. I wish there was a way that people could know that there is a need and a demand for this. I think there's only one place that I can go within 100 miles from where I live to get lymphedema therapy. And that's it just blows my mind that people aren't getting the treatment that they need. People aren't getting the massages that they need. There could be babies out here that aren't getting the treatment that they need. But there is treatment, and there are videos on YouTube. I'm planning on making one to show you guys what I do at home. We're staying home right now, so I can't go to therapy, but that doesn't mean that the care and treatment for my leg stops. I have to still maintain and take care of me. And had I known that I could do this as a teenager, I could have really, really helped my condition at an early stage. My next thing that I would like to tell myself, or something that I would have known, is not to ignore and hate my body. There are other levels besides lymphedema where a young girl can almost be taught to not love herself. Whether it's images in fashion or just the way that she sees herself because of, how family tells her to see herself, or the people around her, her peers, whatever it may be. I definitely would tell myself to not ignore my body and to love it more and to give it more self-care. I think that pedicures are important when you have lymphedema. Taking care of your skin is super important. I wish that I would have known about the different essential oils and ways of massaging and dry brushing and just wearing my compression tights on a daily basis. Just things I wish that I would have known, that I want to make sure that some young 16, 17-year-old girl or guy out there who is dealing with this condition knows. It can definitely improve on your life. My next, and I'm sorry I'm not using numbers, I'll put the numbers in, but my next thing that I wish I would have known is to be grateful. I think that life, and I keep telling everyone, when you hit 30, things just come into perspective. And I wish that as teenagers we didn't have to wait, even as 20-year-olds, we didn't have to wait to be 30 to gain perspective and to have gratitude and be grateful for what we have. So you may be feeling like, why me? Why is my leg, or why is my arm, or wherever else you're afflicted with this condition, why is it like this and why is it me? There's some other girl or some other guy out there who may not have legs, or who may not have their arms, or who may not be able to walk. I think that is what keeps me in a positive state about my condition to this day, is that it may be swollen, and so what? I may not be able to wear certain kinds of shoes. I may not be able to do certain things, but all of that stuff is so trivial compared to someone who can't walk, someone who's not able to write their name, or someone who's not able to learn to ride a bike. Like, things that we take for granted. So having a spirit and an attitude of gratitude is definitely something that I would tell my younger self, because I definitely spent a lot of time feeling I'm grateful for what I did have. My sight, being able to speak, being able to dance even though I had this condition. I spent many years of my young life dancing. Everything from tap to jazz to ballet. I did gymnastics. I had my legs. They may not have been what I thought they should have been, but I had them. So I think that being grateful is major in coping with having lymphedema, and I wish I would have known that as a teen and really understood it. The next thing I would want my younger self to know is it's not your fault. There's nothing that you did or anything that you could have done to prevent this. Oh, this sucks. You know, there was a time where I did feel like back again to like the why me. And it just, you know, sometimes it literally is just the cards you're dealt. And you can either choose to, you know, live a life of depression and constantly being the poor me person, or you can live. You know, it takes you back to the gratitude thing. Like there's somebody who didn't wake up today, somebody who didn't make it home, somebody who didn't have the cards that you're dealt as far as you being here. And having lymphedema is not your fault. And you shouldn't feel that it is. So I would definitely say that to my younger self. I would want her to know that there are options for your compression tights. And Juzo Compression is one of the leading brands for lymphedema compression garments, and there are options is what I'm trying to say. They are a bit expensive, but the quality is out of this world. I just recently discovered that there's a compression tight that comes in an over the knee length. Now I have thicker thighs, and I would always experience my tights that came to the knee. They would roll down and they would sort of pinch the back of my knee. And that was super uncomfortable. So I stayed away from wearing them because they were uncomfortable. I mean, a compression stocking or a glove or a sleeve, wherever you're afflicted with this condition, they're not gonna be extremely comfortable. It's not gonna be like wearing a shirt or anything like that. But you don't want it to be uncomfortable to the point of your circulation is cutting off or anything like that. So when I discovered that they made these, and not only do they make them in over the knee, but you can get them in black, you can get them in other colors, they can be fun, a lot of them are printed. Like, I want to make sure that you guys know this, because it is important for you to treat your condition, but you don't have to feel like, now I gotta wear this sterile thing on my leg and I don't like the way it looks. These are real things. And now some people would come in and say, hey, Joy Louise, like you just talked about being grateful. There's an option for you to, yes, grateful there's an option for you to compress, but it brings me into my next point where it's like, you still wanna be able to express yourself. And that's what I would tell my younger self. It's like, don't be afraid to express yourself when it comes to this condition. Like, throw some glitter on it. Like, yes, I have lymphedema. It's a part of my life. And like I heard someone say before, like, you have to embrace fear like an old friend. And it's like, either you're gonna live your life being afraid, or you're gonna live your life being controlled by this condition, or you're gonna throw something on, own it, live your life. I mean, I've come to a point where lymphedema is very much a part of my daily life, but I don't harp on it as much as I used to. You know, I'm not as pressed about putting an outfit together as I used to be. Oh, I gotta wear a long pant to cover my leg. Or if I wore a dress with a split, you know, up the thigh, I gotta make sure the split is on, you know, the right thigh. I hope I'm making a point here. So to my younger self, like, throw some glitter on that thing and express yourself. Like, you're beautiful, and don't stop being who you are. My next point, or my next thing that I wish I would have known, is while there is no cure for lymphedema, it can be treated. I think that I always felt like this is it. It's gonna flare up sometimes. It's gonna do whatever it does. And there's nothing I can do about it. No. There are things I can do. Like even right now, this morning, I'm having a good leg day. I woke up, there's very mild swelling. And I'm sorry, I keep looking down. I'm actually looking at my leg. I used my Lush Wiki massage bar twice yesterday. It really helped. I don't know, it just really helps, and it feels great when I come out of the shower to rub that cinnamon and the cream on my leg. And it helped to really treat and massage and take time and put care into my leg. Also, I always go back to the dry brushing. It really helps. I try my best to do it before bed and before I get out of bed. I've seen a difference wearing my compression tights. Also definitely helps. And I want to get into lymphatic drainage massaging. That I haven't mastered yet, but I'm trying to get a regimen together so that I can come on here and share it with you guys in order to really just help. And it brings me to my next point that I wish I could have known. And it's hard when you're a teenager because you don't have these thoughts, but to be an encouragement to someone else. And this goes back to knowing that there's a community. And another point, you're not alone. Out of my friends that I can count, my best friend Ileana, my sisters Rachel, Joy, Carol, my cousin Jonalee, all of these really great people that I've had around me, none of them have lymphedema. So it was very hard to find that community. So being younger, in my mind, it just never existed. And I think that being able to tell myself that, hey, you're not alone. There's someone else out there that has this condition. She is having the same thoughts you're having. She's feeling the same feelings that you're feeling, and having community. My last thing I wish I would have known was to not be embarrassed. There's nothing to be embarrassed about having this condition. I know that's easier said than done, especially in speaking to a teenager or a preteen or a young adult. It's just like, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. And I just kind of feel like that's it. Like, nothing else needs to be said. So I hope that this video is helpful, and to my younger lymphy guys and lymphy girls out there, like, life is only gonna get better, and don't stop living for 1 second. This condition is not who you are. It is not who you are meant to be. It is just a condition, and you get to live your life however you choose. Choose to live it fully. I am here. You can find me on Instagram at Joy Louise. It's Joy_Louise. You can also find me on TikTok, where I know a lot of you are, and that is also Joy Louise. And you can message me right here on YouTube. If you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe. And if you have, make sure that you click the notification bell so that you don't miss an upload from me. I love you guys, and I will see you in another video. Bye.